In this video, I'm going to show you how you can use Excel to add members in bulk to one of your teams. So right now I'm in a folder in OneDrive called Add Members to Team, and I'm going to click on New and then Excel Workbook. You might already have your Excel workbook prepared, but in case you don't, I'll show you how to. Now, it's important that your Excel data is formatted as a table. So I'm just going to really quickly add in some headers. From there, if I highlight my headers, under the Home tab, I need to go to Format as Table. So I'll click on that and then just select any theme. And make sure that we select My Table Has Headers and then OK. From there, I can start adding in my data. Or if you already have data, you can just highlight the whole lot and click on Format as Table. So I'm just going to quickly add in some data. Okay, so my data has been added. And one last thing I'll do is I'll select into my header, click on Table Design, and just check the name of my table. So currently it's called Table 1. I want to add a name of members, and then just click out. So anywhere that I click into this table and go into Table Design, it'll show me that I'm in the members table. However, if I click out, we no longer have that table design up there. So be careful when you check your last row that it's still part of that table. So we're done here and I can close that. And I can see that it's called book. That's not a very good name, so I'll just very quickly rename that to something a bit more meaningful. The next step now is to go into Power Automate. So I'm just going to use the 9 dots up the top here where it says OneDrive, and then click on Power Automate. So from here, I'm going to go to Create, and I'm going to select a scheduled cloud flow. So we'll do that. We'll give our flow a name, and then we need to supply a starting time. So in this instance, I'm going to leave it as is, and we've got repeat every 1 minute. I might just change that to 1 month. This really doesn't matter though, because what you'll find with this flow is that you'll disable it when you're not using it. So you'll add in your members, then you'll disable it. The next time that you want to add new members to a different team, you'll update that members spreadsheet with the new names, and then go and change the start date and rerun. So I'll leave it as is and then click on Create. So if I click onto this step, the recurrence, that's where I can see that I'm running every month. And if I click on Show Advanced Options, we've got our start time there. So I can change that as needed. So the first thing that we need to do is add a new step. So we'll click on that. And then we're looking for the step that is called List Rows Present in a Table. So we can start to type that. And under Actions, it appears there. So we're looking for the first one and it's not premium. So we'll click on that. It then asks for the location. So I'll use the drop down, go to OneDrive for Business, and then I need to navigate to the document library. So we'll click on the drop down again, go to OneDrive, and for File, we'll click on this folder here for the Show Picker icon, click on it again, and I'm now at the top level of my OneDrive account. So I'll just navigate to where I saved that. And when you're selecting a folder, you need to click onto the arrow that says Show Content to actually get into the folder. So we'll click on that, Excel, add members to a team, and then I need to select my spreadsheet. So I'll click onto that. And then I need to select my table. So I'll use the drop down, and there is my members table. So I'll click on that. The next step is Get a Row. So I'll click on New Step and type in Get a Row. So we're now looking for the second one, the one that's not premium, Get a Row. And we'll need to repeat some of the steps from above. So location, use the drop down to go to OneDrive for Business. Document library will be OneDrive. We'll need to browse for that file again. Use the drop down to select the table. We need to select the column now. So we'll use the drop down, and the column that we need is the email address. So we'll select on that. And then the key value, we'll just enter our cursor in there. And the key value is the email address. So we'll click on email address in the dynamic content box. If you don't see that, you may need to click on add dynamic content. So we'll go email address. And that will put it into this apply for each loop. So what that means is with every row, repeat the steps within here. So from within here, we're going to click on the button that says add an action. And then we're going to look for the step that says add a member to a team. And so here it is here. We'll click on that. We'll use the drop down to select our team. And I'll just find one of my demo teams. And then where we've got here a user ID to add to the team, we'll put our cursor in there. And this time under the get a row section, we're going to select email address. So I'll click on that and then click on save. Going into my team really quickly, we can see that this particular team just has one owner and there are no members present there. I'm now going to go up to my recurrence and I'm going to change it to 1 minute and then save that. Click on back and we can see here under the history, when your flow runs, you'll see its history here. Also at this page, we've got turn off. So I've made it 1 minute just for testing purposes, but I would probably normally do something like 1 month, like I mentioned before. And once I've actually run it and it's worked, I'll turn it off and then just turn it back on when I need to do it again in the future. So let's click on refresh here and we can see that that is currently running. So if I click on refresh again, it's still running. You can see the durations going up. And now it's succeeded. It took 21 seconds to add in 4 people. So I'm just going to click on the turn off button now. I don't want this running every minute. So we'll click on that. Then from there, if I go to my run history and I actually click onto the date and time, we can see our green ticks. And if I click on the apply to each step to open it up, and then I go to my get a row or add member to a team, we can see that this user has been added to the team. And I can see show 1 of 4. If I click on next to person number 2, that's a new email address that has been added in there. Now back in Teams, I can see that my number of members have increased and I can use the drop down to identify my new members. If in the future you'd like to add new members to a different team, please remember to update that spreadsheet. And from within this Power Automate, you'll need to go to the apply to each step, go to add a member to a team, and then update the team. If you don't change this item, your new members will be added to the incorrect team.